So how? Okay, well, you know he's going to call me back. So what happened there? I mean, like,
I don't know.
this comment: Ramona talks to the doctor on the phone for 12 hours. Lauren gets a measly 6 hours.
Jesus Christ. This guy would go on all night long if you let him.
He would.
He's such a dork.
This guy, I cannot believe it. I'm convinced that this is saving some woman. Or some fucking woman. No, but seriously, I'm convinced that this is saving some lady who would be involved with him and be having her head bashed into the wall of his trailer right now.
And it's not funny, but I mean, I can imagine Lorne getting somebody by the shoulders and shaking her for not agreeing with him.
Oh, crap, they can't hear me. I don't know what to do. Guys, I don't know what to do.
It might just be my settings. I adjusted it a little bit.
Let's see what he said. I'm going to bed. Call your other boyfriend. That's the message I got from Lauren. Did I? Can they hear me better now?
Yeah, I'm going to
I
turn off
didn't do
my
anything.
mic. I'm going to turn off my mic if you want to talk. And then, because it doesn't look like we can both do it easily at the same time.
Okay, because you guys can type to me so I can see what you guys are typing and I can respond that way. Don't marry him, Ramona. Okay, so you guys can hear. So did I give any inkling whatsoever that I was talking to a guy last night? Like, tell me in the message, in the chat. Because and the funny thing is, the absolute truth is that I was watching Forensic Files all last night and all today. I'm not even joking. We have crushes, lesbian crushes on you. Ooh, lesbian crushes on me. Where is he getting? Yeah, if I bought a dog, he would be jealous. Yeah, you guys are right. It's like he comes. Well, I just assumes that. I love Forensic Files too, Noelle. I love it. It's my favorite show ever. And honestly, I feel like Lauren could potentially have a girlfriend who was on that show. Like, he's dangerous. I mean, he's very dangerous. he can't see the TV from the floor. He creates it all in his head. How do I stay so calm? Telling me you want to get married. Well, he did propose to me twice. Forensic Files gets me paranoid as well. Do I think Lauren is only this abusive to females? Probably. Thank you guys. Oh, such sweet comments. I'm reading everything. Do I fear Lauren? If I lived in Maine and he knew where I lived, I'd be terrified because he's the type of guy who would show up at your house when there's no way that he would talk to a girl like that and not be physically violent. He would be driving drunk to people's houses looking for his girlfriend, seeing where she is. That would be very scary. He would be stalking. Do I want to lose him? Thank you for the love from Australia. That's one way we would think if there was a female hitting on you. he didn't like that. The doctor supposedly has a sister. And I'm sorry, guys, if I missed your comment, just ask it again and I'll try and catch it. But the doctor supposedly has a sister, and I said she was gorgeous, and he got angry. Yes, I said Nicholas Bagels or Nick Bagels because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Nick Bagels, whatever. Nick Bagels. Yes, he absolutely would stalk someone and be a real danger. Do I ever have depression, anxiety and depression? The one call that truly affected me was last week. Um, last week, I think it was last week, like a week and a half ago. We had this talk, and it was like a 10-hour call where he was yelling and screaming and abusing me. And I have to say that the way that he acted tonight, he acted like a prince compared to that call. And I think Emma has, I think that call has gone up. But yeah, he was. The next day, I actually felt gross. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I actually felt like disgusting because of how he talked to me. That was the one time that like he was it like affected me, and I just felt like I was just like, I'm so glad that I'm taking time away from him potentially abusing someone else, because I can take it, but yeah, Lorne is on North Korea. Yeah, I mean, he was screaming. Every time I went to speak, he would cut me off. He called me a bitch several times, which just goes to, to speak to how great of a guy he is. And a little nervous. A little nervous. What can I have not put up any of his nudies, and I don't plan to. I know that's not fun, but um, I I don't plan to put up any of Lorne's nude videos and whatnot, just because I don't want to get involved in that. So I don't plan to put any of those up. Why doesn't Lorne end it if he thinks you're cheating? Shut up, Ember. I see that. Someone will hack them from you. You guys better not hack my phone. Um, does he ever apologize the next day on his own decision? No. He'll pretend like nothing happens. Um, I saw his literal asshole. Let's see. Ken Davis, you're exactly right. Lorne only would want me to break up with him and not him break up with me, because it would be easier for him to blame me. And that's one of the things about. Oh, thank you for saying I'm a sexy voice. Um, yeah. Am I sick of seeing his cock? That's a funny one. I have received like probably no less than 1,000 videos and pictures of it. Um, oh no worries, Joe. I've seen so many. Am I sick of? Oh yeah. Anyway, I've seen so many like pictures, videos, everything of his penis. I mean, I think like part of me thinks that he thinks that he's the only guy in the world with a penis, the way that he shows it off like it's some new things. I've never shown him anything. No bits. The first call with me and him was pretty nice. He was, we talked a little bit about the sting. I mean, he was very, just basic. I mean, nothing exciting. He just, just kind of talked about his life since that and whatnot. Do I want to see it again? Do I think he's honest about other women being interested in him, or are they just fabrications to try and make me jealous? So there's April at Circle K and Jenny at Walmart, and honestly, I believe these are just really friendly cashiers who are nice ladies. Do we talk about Kayla? Not really. He talks more about they. Like he doesn't say Kayla, he says they, meaning like the decoys. So they tried to get him there. He didn't want to go, but they made him go. Things like that. Ramona is not single. She's with Lorne. No, but Ramona's not single. How do I see this? Oh, the restrictions that he talks about are he wouldn't let me say this because he hates hearing it, but when I met Lorne, when I started talking to Lorne, I told him that he could have 24-hour access to me, and I think that is kind of just like like in many friendships, it's kind of like expected in the sense that I do have a friend in Texas, and if something happened, like if she and her boyfriend had a huge fight or something ridiculous, she could text me, and if I'm up, I'm going to call her. And there are even times, if she's like bored and she can't sleep and it's like 3 a.m, and she texts me, I'm not going to be mad. And if I'm awake, I'll call her. And so when I met Lorne, I told him that he had 24-hour access. And that's what that meant. Like, if something important happened, or, if you just wanted to do like a little nudge at like maybe 11 or 12 to see if I was still up, that kind of thing. Well, that didn't work because he would message me at 2 a.m. to tell me he was getting up to pee. He would message me at 3 a.m. to send me pictures of his penis. So I told him at that point, and he would also send me videos of him showering, and it would be like 8 videos. So it would be, I'm reading from your comments, so it would be like 8 videos of him showering that I would get at 4 in the morning while I'm still asleep before I have to get up for work at like 5 or 6. So I told him, okay, you're not to message me before 8, because he kept doing that. And yes, I'm really black. And so he would throw this he threw this like huge fit, but for the most part, he followed that. Then, no, I'm not Nathaniel with a voice changer. Then he would always get drunk. I mean, literally from like week 2, he started getting drunk, and he would just constantly message me. I'd wake up to about 100 or 2 text messages, maybe 30 or 40 calls, sometimes even more, and 20, 30 voicemail messages, all screaming and cursing me out. So I told him that he's not to message me after 10. I have literally begged him not to message me after 10. I've demanded for him not to message me after 10. I've asked him. He still does it. I mean, he literally, there are no boundaries with him. He does what he wants. Yes, you give him an inch, he takes 3 miles. What was that other question? Why do I want to dish him the fuck out? I don't know. It's almost easier for me to let him like talk himself into like being like completely shitty. Lorne is not being. Yes, I agree with you. Lorne is not capable of being taught a lesson. You try and teach him something he doesn't. Yes, I have a real live-in boyfriend. Um, Ramona, balding sex offender, a three-legged doctor. He gets a laugh. He used to get annoyed by it, but he gets a laugh from it now. But he is very disturbed and absolutely hates him. Like, the way that he talks to women and that kind of stuff. Are there any redeeming qualities about Lorne? Honestly, I don't think there's one. I mean, I really don't. He does have a good sense of humor. He can be funny. That's the one good thing. Um, yeah, I see you, Tesla fan. I'll tell you something funny. That's the one good thing about him is that he is funny, and that's the only good thing about him is that he has a sense of humor. He is funny. Um, a lot of it is not intentional humor, but some of it is intentional humor and some of it is funny. With the eBay items, he wanted to sell a cassette tape that he had made for $10,000. And I said, well, Lorne, why don't you do something reasonable, like sell the cassette tape that you made 20 years ago for like maybe $8,000? And he refused to come down on the price because he said that one day it's going to be worth millions of dollars when he's famous. No, Lorne doesn't haunt my dreams. How do I not burst out laughing when he goes off in his rants? I just like a lot of times I picture myself as like a girl who this is actually happening to because I know that every time that I talk to Lorne, somewhere out there is a girl who's being abused by someone like him. And so so it like I do laugh. I do think it's funny. I really like it when at the end of the day when Ember uploads the videos to her channel and I can hear them for myself. I get just as excited when she does that, even though I had the conversation, because it's like I get to hear it for the first. It's like hearing it for the first time. What was the other question I missed? I don't know if Lauren met down. The relationship. Um, the relationship did start to deteriorate. I genuinely do have two knee issues, two knee injuries. Um, I have a completely almost torn off ACL on my left leg and several meniscus tears, and I have a root meniscus tear on my right knee. And so I did the left knee in 2015. I did the right knee in 2007. And when I did that, not 2007, on the 7th of 2017, June 7th. And so when I did the right leg, I went on short-term disability with my job. And so whereas before, like I was able to talk to Lorne several hours a day and that kind of thing, I don't now because I'm doing things for my knee. I'm doing things around the house. And so I'm not devoting as much time to Lorne. And when you're not giving Lorne all your time, that's when he starts to have problems. Thank you, Millennia. I do believe that I am saving people from him. I genuinely do. I genuinely believe that I'm doing a good service for the women of Maine. Does Lorne influence my overall thoughts on men? No, because I have had like I've dated quite a few guys, and I mean, in every bunch there's some shitty ones, and I've dated some shitty ones, and I've never dated anyone that comes close to him, not even. He told me when he was 37, so when he got caught up in the sting, he said that he looked like he was 27. Oh God, the longest I've ever been on the phone with him is probably like 10 hours. I mean, seriously, is where he hasn't cried. But I think Lorne deserves a happy life. His happiness would take from someone else. He just wouldn't, like, there's no world in which Lorne is happy and he's not abusing people or stealing from people or doing overall shitty stuff. Oh, somebody asked, if I haven't answered your question, please ask it again because I missed a couple. I'm trying to go back up and find them, but somebody asked if he would ever harm himself. He has been adamant with me that he would not do that, and so I honestly I am happy about that. You know, I don't think he should be committing suicide. I absolutely 100% based off of things that he has said to me, I think there's a less than 0% chance that he would ever harm himself. Has Lauren ever read Catcher in the Rye? I think the more important question is, has Lauren ever read? And I said to him one day, I said, Lauren, do you have a library near you? And he said, yeah, there's one right down the street. And I said, just like this, I said, well, why have you not ever been there? And he said, what would I go there for? And I said, to read, to learn, to expand your mind. And he said, nobody ever goes there. Like, he brushed it off and said, nobody ever goes there. And I said, like, do you know how to get there? He said, yeah, it's right down the street. I pass it all the time. I said, what, on the way to get beer? He's like, yeah. So segueing into this question, do I have any hope for him becoming a better person? Absolutely not. He will not take responsibility for anything he does. He has about 5 to 7 different people and entities that he blames for getting caught up in this thing. I wonder how verbally abusive he gets with his mom. He does. He talks to her as if she's stupid. Like, Ma, you've been out all day. You know you shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z. I don't know why you do this. Like, almost as if she's incapable of judging how much she can physically handle. And I said, why do you talk to her like that? I said, she lived for probably 30 years before you were even born, and she did just fine. And he said, well, everybody else does it. That's his favorite thing, everybody else does it. And I said, yeah, and if I were her, I would tell all of you guys to kiss my ass because, I said, you have no problem pretending that you care so much about her, but yet you pretend that you care so much about her and that you're so concerned about her, but yet you have absolutely no problem going after and taking from her Social Security and getting money from her Social Security. No, my boyfriend's not annoyed that I spend so much time with him on the phone. We have a wonderful relationship, and he thinks it's weird. I think he understands it a little bit more now. I just kind of compare it to video games. It's like you have video games, and I have Church of God. No, he doesn't have a job. I think I missed some of your questions. Why does he say, no, he was not remorseful for driving drunk? No, he doesn't live with his mom. I think he says mom instead of my mom. I don't know. I guess maybe making me feel like I'm part of the family. I don't know. Does Lorne have a relationship with his nieces? No, thank goodness. I've asked him questions about that before, and it's like they don't talk to him. He doesn't contact them. Try not to miss any questions. Yes, I've seen Lorne dance. He was completely naked, and he did a dancing video for me. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. No, Lorne does not cross my mind when I'm fixing the climax, as you said. Trying to keep up, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think his mom drinks. Or in fact, I know she doesn't drink now, and I don't believe she did when she was younger. No, my real boyfriend's not a doctor. But even though my boyfriend's successful, his career does not. He's an engineer, and so I didn't want to say that because when you hear engineer, like you don't necessarily think of the prestige as you think of when you hear doctor. Does Lorne appear inbred? That's a good question. He gets money from unemployment. I have never, not one time, told Lorne that I love him. Never. In fact, I am adamant about the opposite. I tell him I have never said I love you. I don't love you. I tell him I don't love you. Not one little piece of me loves you. I do not love you. I tell him over and over whenever he asks if I love him, because I don't want to be dishonest. And I'm not going to say that I love him if I don't. He believes in God, but he's not like super religious. What would I do if I met him in real life? It depends on where. My boyfriend must have the patience of the saint. He does. He's very patient. That's one of his good qualities. Many good qualities. Do I think Lorne will wind up getting arrested again? By the way, I like that name, Butterscotch. I love South Park. I don't think so. Thank you, JBJB. I don't think so. Only because, well, yeah, he did violate his probation, but it's not like super egregious. Like, he violated it by drinking, but since it's not like super egregious or related to his crime, then I don't think he will. Mr. Papadopoulos, I have no clue. Mitch Keller, no, he doesn't. Yes, Father Paris. If he was a nice, respectful guy, I would be able to find some kind of good quality in him. Oh no, no, I'm not knocking engineers. I'm very proud of my boyfriend. I admire him. He's very smart. But it's just like when I
Please leave your message for
Tracy. Am I back on, Emma? Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So the reason why I didn't make the doctor an engineer when I created that character is, and can you guys resend your questions in case I missed anything? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the reason why I didn't make the doctor an engineer is because, hang on. Is because, when I said the title, because I was intentionally creating that character for a reason, I wanted there to be some kind of meaning behind it, in the sense that when you hear doctor, you automatically think prestige, rich, that kind of thing. Even though most engineers, in fact, just about all engineers, make decent salaries and everything, it's one of the ones that it's not necessarily a career that people who are ignorant, like Lorne, think of, and they think, oh, successful, lots of money. I'm going back so I can. Thank you guys for the kind words. You guys are so sweet. So I think Lorne's therapists and classes are actively trying to help him, or are they just not trying / doing their job? I think it's only, from things that he's told me, there are some things that he's told me that they've suggested to him that I disagree with. But I think that they are doing the best that they can, but it only works as much as he will. And they can give him the tools. Like, I mean, I've seen good advice. Like, I've seen people try to give him good advice over the internet. I've tried to give him a lot of good advice many times. But when you're talking to someone who thinks that they know it all, or who is unwilling to go outside of what they know and what they normally do, it's impossible to affect change. Technotron, that would be very interesting to know. And we'll find out tomorrow. Yeah, he wasn't a bad-looking guy when he was young. I would even say he was pretty cute when he was younger. He doesn't bring up Dateline too often. The Sting, he talks about it in terms of the Sting. Yes, he has a crush on Olivia Newton-John. He also said that, now keep in mind, this is a 46-year-old, almost 47. He also said 52 is too old for him. She looks like Jennifer Aniston, end quote. How do you know Amazon is not delivering me a phone tomorrow? I don't think I've heard him say Mr. Penis. I don't think so. He gets mad if I say it. I don't know if he was bullied at school. I don't think so. What did they tell him? I should say that I also think that Lorne has probably twisted some of their advice to make him look like a good guy. Yeah, he does claim that the catalog was doctored. "52 is past childbearing age. Lorne still wants to pass his defective genes on." I have had quite a few normal conversations with him. I have had quite a few. He didn't say Jennifer Aniston was too old for him, but we were talking about a lady who he was friends with, and she just happened to be 52. And I said, "Oh, you should give her a chance." And this was several months ago. I said, "You should give her." He said, 52 is too old. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? 52 is pretty young." And he was like, 52 is way too old. And he was like, "Unless she looks like Jennifer Aniston." What is the most vulgar thing Lorne has said to me? I might have to come back to, because there have been quite a few. A friend of mine in Indiana played the doctor. I think he does. I mean, real friends as in people who he can hang out with in his state, yeah. Real friends as in true, have your back, never betray you friends, probably not. But then again, he is not that type. Emma, are you still with us? Oh, okay. Because I'm not sure if you're like, I'm not sure if you're messaging me and I'm not getting it. Because earlier I wasn't getting your messages, Emma. Thank you, Mitch. No, I don't think the Air Force fucked with him. No, not a virgin. Uh, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was his last girlfriend? Now, that's some funny stuff. Dusty, I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question. Can you repost? I'm sorry. If I didn't answer, I didn't see it. There's so many gates to getting into my apartment and everything. If Lauren told me his address and that he was on his way, or my address, and that he was on his way, I don't even know if I would trip. Now, if I didn't live in an apartment and I just lived in a house, and Lauren told me that, um, I would probably, I don't even know what I would do. What do you do in that kind of situation? That doesn't really, apparently from what I've heard, that does not really happen in jail as much as people think it does. That's just from what I've heard. I could be wrong. I don't know if he likes midgets. He likes short women. Um, Thanks to my friend in Indiana who got me his number from Emma. Um, I I don't know if he has, so I don't want to guess if he's ever molested any children. I don't know. That's the best way to answer that question. It's literally a coin toss. It's literally a coin toss. I don't know. Um, Devario Lopez, Ramona Quimby, Beverly Cleary. The Godfather. That I don't know. Buchanan Baxter. I think because he is such a bad, crappy person that it's hard to turn away. He gives us so much material. Um, Drunks Against Mothers Driving. When you say tranny, do you mean a male who has had the operation and someone who was born with male genitalia who identifies with the female gender, or vice versa, and have they had an operation? I have the answer, but I want to ask that so that I can give you the answer the correct answer, basically. Webbs, I've been a Leonardo for about 5 years. Is he desperate for sex, a wife, or a family? Well, if he is, he's not going about it the right way. Yes, finale 007. Is he racist? I think he's ignorant and prejudiced, and if I were in front of him and he were arguing with me and seeing that I'm black, I think for sure he'd be using the N-word. But you got to walk before you can, or you've got to crawl before you can walk. So that's why he started out with asshole, bitch, piece of shit, things like that, because he has to build his way up to those more serious racial epitheliates, or however you say it. Does he still have that chest cold? For Thanksgiving and Christmas, usually, from what I understand, like goes to his mom's and stuff like that. Misspelling, he does not have his phone or internet service right now. Roger Elliott, what do you mean? What would he have to say for me to spill the beans on him? Spill what beans? Can you be a little bit more specific? Yes, Jade, I am actually black. I think he would. Drunks Against Mothers Driving, I think he would. How long did it take Lauren to fall in love with me? All of about a month. Yes, pretty visitor. That is one of the truest statements that could ever be said. A gorgeous 24-year-old, 24, 25, 26-year-old would rather be with a registered sex offender, a broke registered sex offender in Maine, than with a doctor. That's really rich. Webb's Lorne doesn't vote. He just doesn't. The radio, oh my gosh, Jade, was that me on one of the radio podcasts from 2015? I was on radio podcasts in 2015. If the voice sounded like me, there's a good chance it was me. I had just forgotten about that. I didn't forget about the podcast. I just forgot that it went on YouTube. My favorite books. I love the Dummy series books, different health books from the Dummy series. I used to enjoy reading comic books. I usually read like miscellaneous, like health and fitness and wellness type books. And when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of the Ramona series. Denny, no, he actually hasn't. Well, let me go back. He hasn't intentionally like called me any words or anything like that, but he has that kind of like fundamental systemic racism mindset. When he first heard my voice, when he was trying to guess what my ethnicity was, I said I'm not white, and so he said, really? And so he starts naming things. I mean, he named things I had never even heard of. And the one that he didn't guess was black. And he then later said that I didn't sound black, I sounded white, which was basically his way of saying that black people sound ignorant, and I don't sound ignorant, therefore I must sound white. He has that problems from driving truck. Technotron, that's a very, very, very good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. Very good question. Now you've got me thinking. I don't know, based only because he has seen pictures of me as a black girl, and so he has shown those around and shown to his mommy. But I don't know if that's what he imagines. That's a good question. Buchanan Paula was a girl who allegedly cheated on Lorne over 20 years ago. Has Lorne ever come close to making a racist remark towards you over the phone? Believe it or not, no. And that's what my boyfriend was saying, like when I told him about just how absolutely vulgar and disgusting he got last week on last week's call. He was like, and he still hasn't called you anything racist? And I said, no. And I was like, you almost sound disappointed. And he's like, he just can't fathom how this guy can be this violent and not say anything racist. Yes, I've heard of Candid Fellow. I get a kick out of his switchboards. Yes, I think Paula was real. She, I think she went to school with him. And no one can blame Paula. I don't think to this day that she realizes the bullet that she dodged, but it would be funny if she thought of him one day and Googled him, but I don't think she realizes the size of the bullet that she dodged. And she just has to listen to my videos and she'll know. I don't know if he will. He said he won't, but yeah, he's gone back on a lot. They say it depends if I would ever send him some food if he were starving. It depends. What would it take for me to tell Lorne that it's another catfish and Addison? That's a good question. Maybe him calling me a racial slur might possibly set me over to that. Like if he and I were talking, or if he were abusing me, and he started doing that, saying vulgar things. Oh yes, by the way, I really do have a 96-year-old grandmother, and she is amazing. I love her so much. And so maybe if he says something very cruel about my grandmother or something like that, then there's a chance that I might, under circumstances such as those, yes, he's dangerous. He's absolutely dangerous. Who do I think will inevitably break it off, me or Lorne? I'm not sure. I agree, Denny. I don't think he should be around children or anything like that, but him as a stalker, oh God, that just gives me shivers. Pretty visitor, yes. Oh my gosh, he's saying to me, oh my goodness, so many times. It all sounds the same. Yes, finale 007, if you're talking about the call that I referred to where he was just like over the top, like even more abusive than normal, then yes, that's the call where he wouldn't let go of me seeing the doctor in his underwear. Thank you, Daniela. Yeah, drunks against mothers driving. I agree. She does not know what she dodged. Not sure of Amanda James' real name. Yeah, she doesn't know what she dodged, but she literally dodged a lot of bullshit. No, I've never heard them eating dog predator, or not dog predator, dog food. Would I consider contacting another predator? I would talk to them, but I wouldn't want to make a long-term thing out of it, because this and a boyfriend is more than enough. Has Lauren ever written me a poem? Yes, I've gotten several. Not for a while, but I have gotten several poems. Where do I go from here? I am literally just going with the flow. Yes, call with Dr. and Lauren is possible, is in the works. The plan is in the works. He used to always ask if I was recording him when I would first talk to him. Always. Do I know any Laurens in real life? I don't. I don't. Yes, I think he does drive a Ford. I don't know if he and Paula were in a real relationship. Does Lauren's probation officer not look at the videos on YouTube? I don't know. Do I think he belongs in jail? And it's kind of a loaded question. I think they should put more sanctions up on him. I mean, you know, he violates his probation by drinking all the time, but I don't know if I think he should I don't know if I think he should go to jail for that. I can't say. But I definitely think that getting him off the internet and things like that, I think that was a good idea. I don't know though if I think he belongs in jail. Because the thing is, why is he going to go in and why is he going to get released? New Orette, is that your name? Nousarete? That would be funny, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. What's my favorite thing that Lorne... Wait, where'd it go? What's my favorite thing that Lorne pronounces strangely? I genuinely like the way he says again and that. Again and that. Curiosity. What caused me to reach out to him was just curiosity. He and his sister don't get along. He said that she is a cunt. How much would it cost for me to fuck Lorne? I don't know if there's that much money in the world. I've never seen Lauren's sister's Facebook, so I have no clue what she looks like. Why do I think he meets women on the internet and never in real life? Well, I think he was meeting them when he was going to bars. But I mean, I literally think he's just putting himself out there wherever he could meet someone. So whether it's in a bar, whether it's in the chat room, I think he's just putting himself out where he could meet a bunch of women. Why he falls in love with every girl he meets, I have no clue. Have I heard Lorne fart? Yes, I have. Oh gosh, sometimes he won't let me get off the phone. Like, I'm tired. It's like, Lorne, I gotta go. I gotta go to sleep. No, stay on the phone. Just stay on the phone. You can go to sleep, but stay on the phone. No text that I know of. KK says the guy's going to hurt somebody or a child. That's why, I feel like I hope I have saved someone, child or someone, by occupying some of Lauren's time. Oh, his parole says he can't drink to excess, which is a meaningless open to interpretation phrase. Yes, these are red flags. Unemployed, drunk, emotional, unstable. Yeah, those are definitely red flags he shows. Does Lauren actually think people were scared of him in prison? I'm not sure. Thank you, KK, for your kind words. I don't think he's violating his probation by talking to us. We're both of age. I don't know. I'm just not interested in sending him to prison. I don't know. That is true. He has brought so many people together, yet he remains all alone. I think the Trisha Cott is great. I think it's brought a lot of people together. It's in its own little way, it's raised awareness, kind of saying, don't be a pedophile, because if you do, you'll end up being the laughing stock like this guy. So. I can't remember if he dated anyone when he was in Washington. I remember I think, but I'm not 100% sure. His siblings supposedly used him for money, and yeah, mac and cheese was one of the alleged things. Why do I think a man with so little to offer has such an unbelievable sense of entitlement? I think because he does not see, I think he has a very, I don't know if I'd say high self-esteem, but he has, when he looks at himself, he doesn't see what we see. Like, we see a balding pedophile, but he sees a guy with a whole lot of potential. And let's see. Lauren, 10 years from now, living in the same exact trailer. I think Lauren could beat up any mom or stepmom that tried to take his keys. That's funny. How often does he cry? Not often enough. Thank you, KK. Will he ever pay Betty? Oh, and this is one that I don't think you guys know. So I had asked him one day when he was going to start paying her back, and he said that she, quote, can't stop running her mouth, and that he was going to offer to do work for her, but since she won't shut up and stop running her mouth online, that he was just going to pay her in the cash. And so I said, well, when is she going to get cash? And he said, when he gets it. And so I said, because she's she's an older lady, and that money probably, she's probably, the reason why she goes online, I'm trying to be gentle at this time. I said the reason why she goes online is because she's probably frustrated. She really needs that money, I'm sure. And his exact words were, well, if that bitch needs money, she can get a fucking job. And I said, but Lorne, isn't she in her 70s or something? Yeah, well, there's nothing. And his response was, yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with her. She can work if she needs fucking money. That was his response. So yes, Lorne badmouthed the lady who he stole $30,000 from. Thank you, Creepod. My high-pitched Lorne mock voice is so hilarious. What does Lorne watch on TV? He doesn't watch a lot of TV. For every 20 calls of Lorne, how many would he cry in? Depends on what they're about. If it's just a normal, like, day-to-day type call, then he usually won't. Oh, by the way, I am the driving force behind the vegan videos. I am vegan. And so I figured if he was going to do cooking shows, he might as well show some vegan recipes. And they're good. It's really good stuff. And so I just thought I should tell you guys that. Let's see. And that's funny. He says his siblings used him for money, and it screwed him up so bad that he decided to rape a child. Makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much the logic that he has been dancing around. I don't think I've ever met anybody, any man who cries like Lorne. Jade, what is the professor? Professor? Is that supposed to say? Oh, professor. He stole $20,000 from. Is that Betty? Or is that somebody else? I don't believe he looks at porn. I was serious when I suggested that he play video games. I suggested that because I said, get a hobby, something to get your mind off of me so that you're not sitting around all day. Have a hobby, do something, play some video games, look for a job, read a book, find something to keep your mind occupied instead of constantly wondering what I'm doing. What does he do all day? I just unwittingly answered that. Literally sits around and thinks about Ramona all day, and works with his house, or his trailer rather, and I mean pretty much nothing, like a lot of nothing. Oh, Clyde, 2,200K. Yep, I'm responding to you. Big shout out. Yay, Dusty is also vegan. Oh, thank you, Clyde. I don't know if I'd eat anything Lorne cooked. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. Oh, that's a very good question. Andy 2D6. The most ridiculous and unwarranted incident of Lorne's jealousy came on Christmas of last year. Christmas Eve, I went up to visit family and for Christmas to spend the night and spend time with family. And I'm sharing that time. Now, what I told him that I was doing is I told him that me and my mom were playing Scrabble, and my Nana was singing to us. Now this was, and she's 96, and she is real. She's my 96-year-old Nana. Now this was before any of this whole doctor or anything like that became a real factor in his mind. This guy messaged me and called me repeatedly. He got drunk and he messaged and called me repeatedly, asking me to step into the bathroom, to step outside. I'm like, Lauren, I'm playing Scrabble with my mom. My grandmother's singing. I'm sharing this time. I mean, it's freaking Christmas, for goodness sakes. And I'm spending it with my family. That wasn't good enough for him. He was demanding, calling, leaving messages, cursing me out, demanding that I go into the bathroom. This went on for about 3 or 4 hours until I realized that he was just not going to give it up. He was just not going to stop. And so I went outside, and the thing that he had to ask me that was so important was that he proposed. And, you know, I'm thinking that's exactly the kind of proposal that every girl dreams of. She goes into the bathroom, sits on the toilet, and her drunk pedophile boyfriend who lives hundreds of miles away asks her to marry him. Oh, Lauren used to request all sorts of videos. Would I give him videos of, like, genitalia and me doing different, like, sex acts to myself? And I never would, never. I never sent anything like that. Thank you, Nancy. Vegan shout out. Thank you very much. Sweet comment. I like Sublime, so what song is that you're referring to? Is vegan bologna a delicacy or hood? I guess it's in between. I enjoy vegan bologna. Before I was vegan, I used to eat non-vegan bologna, and when I went vegan and discovered vegan bologna, I was like, oh, this is good. I keep losing it. Oh, Clyde, you're so sweet. Betty is sweet. I don't know if she's elderly. I mean, she's an older lady who Lauren was supposed to do work for, but like any dishonest loser, he took the money and ran. Do I think Lauren would be willing to admit he's a sex offender every day to every audience if it enabled him to sing country music for a living? That's a tough one. I'm not sure. I think women want to sleep with Lauren for his celebrity. Absolutely not. He doesn't need a hobby. He needs a job. Do I think Lauren would? Oh, do I use the X, Y, and Z phrase as a part of my normal speech? I use it as normal speech. Yes, Clyde, I said your name. Hi, I'm Lauren Armstrong. I'm a sex offender, and this is I Loved Her First. Now that is funny. Does he have to say it on application? I know that they ask, I believe, well, I think you have to disclose that because you have to disclose it with the state so that they can put your place of employment up. But does he have to put it on applications? I know most applications ask if you've been convicted of like a felony, or at least where I live, if you've been convicted of a felony, some of them might even say a felony and a misdemeanor. Some of them will say if you ever have been, and then some of them will say in the last 7 years have you been. So that's the applications that I see where I am. I'm not sure what it's like where he is. Ooh, I'm sexy. Oh, but Lorne is super sexy. Who's taller, me or Lorne? Yeah, Lorne is taller. Yeah, he proposed to me on that. Like, there's been 2 proposals. You take. What really made me mad, and because during these calls, the thing that makes me mad is when he tries to downplay what he did and blame others. And what really made me mad was, okay, so we were talking about the sting, and he kept saying, yeah, but Dateline did this. They shouldn't have been there. There shouldn't have been cameras. So at first he says, you know, the NBC shouldn't have had cameras recording it. And I said, well, they did it for 2 reasons. One, it showed parents that, yeah, while you're away at work, there are disgusting men who are trying to fuck your kids. And it also showed disgusting men that, hey, you know, if I do this, if I pursue this, I could very well end up on TV and go to jail. And so his thing was, well, yeah, well, they should have done it for free. They were there for the wrong reasons. They should have done it for free. And I said, so NBC should have to give up their resources, their cameras, their manpower, and give up pieces of their business to put out a show because grown men want to fuck kids. They should have to give up from themselves. So I said, so rather than donating to, you know, cancer research, to HIV, to animals, to heart disease, I mean, all these different causes, rather than have NBC donate to those, Lorne is saying that they should give up their services for free to catch men who want to fuck kids. And I said, you know, and my thing is, I said, kids have the right to be innocent. That's what makes them kids. They shouldn't have to worry about adult problems, and they shouldn't have to worry about their safety. They should be allowed to be innocent, and grown-ass men should not be taking advantage of that. I think he went to his mom's house for Christmas. Income probably, 30 something, I guess. Besides his vegan thing, now I will say Lorne never went vegan or anything, but he was interested in trying some vegan food. Any other lifestyle changes? I don't think so, but if I think of any, I'll come back to it. What do I think it would take for him to get over his alcoholism? Him taking responsibility, and finding a hobby. I mean, truly, again, and that's where I go back to video gaming. I just, you know, for him to just be sitting around the house all day drinking beer, there's so much more productive stuff that he could do. So I think finding a hobby, reading, a video game, I don't know, dirt biking, anything, just so that you're not sitting, staring at the phone, waiting for someone who's living their life to call you. Yeah, Clyde, I'd still say about 30, maybe 40 at the most. Yes, I've had the vegan pork bites, and they are so good. Have them over rice, and oh my gosh, they are amazing. You can get the Gardein vegan pork bites at Walmart, actually, in their frozen food section. Yeah, Technotron, I agree. I think he probably is waiting for her to die so that he doesn't have to pay her. I agree. So I think tweak, and Craig will break up. No, I mean, it's not morbid. It's the truth. He is, he has no intention. It's porkless. Some vegan you are. That's funny, Jade. Yeah, the vegan porkless bites from Gardein. So I think he intentionally scammed her. I think I don't know. I don't know if he went into it with the intention of scamming her, but certainly he, at some point, he knew that he was eventually going to scam her. I don't think it was a split-second decision. Although someone said that I think it was a scam and that he saw it as his ticket to Nashville. That could be. That is true. If he wasn't going to have sex with her, why? If he didn't want to have sex with her, why did he ask her for a kiss? He was totally going to try to have sex with her. No, I don't have a YouTube channel. I did talk to his mom. Thank you, Victor Alcala. I think Lorne is happier with me in his life versus not in his life. I don't think that I think he'd be happier without alcohol. And he's so obsessive, he's so possessive, he's so controlling and demanding that it's almost like, how could he be happy? Because here you have a guy who literally, from the moment that he wakes up, would spend all day and all night on the phone with me every single solitary day. And any deviation from that plan, and he freaks out. On a scale of 1 to 10, his hotness, like a 1. I wish we could hear Lorne proposing. Maybe I'll find that one. Yep, this is still going. What do I think of female predators? With female predators, and they don't deserve a pass either. With female predators, it's usually someone they know, so they're a teacher and they fall in love with a student, and it's not just a sexual affair, but it's also an emotional connection. Whereas with men, and that's why To Catch a Predator was 100% men. With men, they're fine to rape one kid, and rape a kid and then never think of that kid again, kind of thing. I should propose to Lorne. Oh, thank you, Taniki. Lord can't afford video games. You know, if he stopped spending so much money on alcohol and cigarettes, he could. Even like a computer that you put games on, and it doesn't have internet, but that has games that you don't have to keep buying video games. It depends on where you live. If 30 to 40 isn't, oh, okay, isn't that poor? I thought you, I don't know I don't know if that's saying isn't that poor as in it's a decent amount of money, or are you asking if that's poor? Um, I'm not sure what way that is meant to be phrased, but because it's the same words, but it could mean different things. So I will say that depending on where you are, whether, and also depending on if you live with someone, 30 to 40 can be good money. It can also be like massively and deeply in poverty. So like in Maine, I think that is okay money. Even where I live, it's after taxes, 30 to 40 is okay money where I live. But you go to California and you're going to be living in like a bucket. Where's my accent from? David Galliano? You guys tell me, where do you guys think I'm from? And David Galliano, where are you from? Yeah, tell me where you guys think I'm from. Yeah, drugs against mothers driving. I know Lorne could have stayed and done work and returned the money, but that would have been the honest thing to do, and he's just not like that. Don't tell Lorne he can play stations. He can play station versus other people. That would be interesting. Okay, someone's guessing North Carolina. Thank you for your comment about my patient. The doctor's sister. I agree with you, drugs against mothers driving. I think that there's no way he's going to do the honest thing. I think that he at some point decided he was gonna pull a scam and that he was gonna take the money. I do find him repulsive. He was a good looking guy when he was younger. His dad is still alive. Yeah, that is sad but true that his dad got out of there, and it could have been a really good decision, even though it's pretty shitty to leave your kids, but they were doomed. He is on the lower side of average. Yeah, Denny, that really bothers me as well. That he thinks that he knows how all guys think, and that ultimately all guys just want sex. I find that really disgusting. Um, yeah, almost as if a guy can't be in a relationship with a girl and enjoy their friendship, enjoy their companionship, enjoy doing fun activities outside of the bedroom, that kind of thing. With him, it's, yeah, all he just wants to have sex. He just wants to screw, and that he projects that onto other people. So, for instance, because that's all in Lorne's mind, he thinks that the doctor only wants to have sex with Ramona. California, Rome. Someone says I'm from Florida. I sound like a Midwestern girl, North Dakota, Carolina. Oh, thank you. Yes, you're near Chicago. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, David, you're in the States as well. So, when you said I have an accent, like, so how do I sound to you? Did he go to prom? I don't remember. I don't know if he told me that. We started talking because I got his phone number and I just introduced myself and went from there. You just hear a dusting of Missouri in my voice. Wow. The idea that you can get a house even in a poor area in California for under $100,000 is amazing. Yeah. That was the plan for him, to get a free trip to Nashville and make it as a country singer. Indianapolis, Texas. So I'm all over the country. All guys do want sex. That is true. But where they place it is what makes the difference. And so when Lorne places it at the very tippy top, because I think that Lorne is the type of person who would not feel loved if he were not getting what he would consider good sex. So whereas he could have intimacy, he could cuddle, he could do fun, adventurous things. He could have all these different elements of a relationship. Well, he couldn't because he's a piece of shit, but you know what I mean? Like, there could be all these different elements. He wouldn't feel like he was loved unless he was having sex. A couple of his siblings he has okay relationships with, but they're not a whole lot better than he is. What do I think? He smells like beer and cigarettes. Exactly. I agree with Clyde in the sense that, I mean, I think, the result would be the same. You're going to, you stick your wiener in a hole or you stick your hot dog in a taco. The result is the same. And the problem is and one of the things that would be a problem with Lorne in a relationship, because when he and I first started talking, he had in his mind that, like, literally we were going to see each other and instantly start having sex. Like, literally that we were going to meet and the very first thing we were going to do is start having sex. And he has that kind of mentality about relationships where it's like, okay, we start out having all this sex and everything, and it's never going to work like that, because before you introduce sex, if you don't introduce some kind of emotional connection that's not based off of sex, then when the sex gets boring, when the sex fades, if, let's say, she has a surgery and she can't have sex for a while, then you don't have a relationship because you build everything off of sex. Thank you. Close age laws, as in adult having sex with a minor within a certain age range. What's theirs? I think that in a lot of states, I could be wrong, but I think that it's like if he's 18, you must be like 16, maybe 15 or something. And I definitely agree with that. There have been cases where guys are like literally forced to register as sex offenders because they were like something like 18 and their girlfriend of like 5 years is 15 or 16 and different things like that. I mean, there's a massive difference between a 40-year-old being with a, let's say, 15 or 16-year-old and an 18-year-old being with a 15 or 16-year-old. And so for me, for a registered sex offender registry to be accurate and powerful and literally a blacklist of who to avoid, I think that we need to get rid of situations where people, let's say, peed in public and now they're registered sex offenders, or like I said a minute ago, they were 18 and their girlfriend was 15, 16, and now they're registered sex offenders. I think that, so basically I am supportive of the law, and I think we need to be more, let's say, discriminative on who we make sex offenders, registered sex offenders. I think, and again, it's not people who pee in public and things like that. The worst thing Lorne told me about himself. I'm going to come back to that one. Oh, somebody thought I sounded Canadian. I went to Canada a couple of weeks ago. It was great. Of course, Lorne decided to get drunk the night before I went and decided that he was going to harass me all night. Oh, gosh, if Lorne really did accept. Nothing really bad happened in prison. I mean, I know, like, people, when they get mad at offenders, they always, like, hope that that person, like, experienced some kind of, like, bad time in prison. But from what he tells me, nothing really bad happens in prison in terms of, like, being violated and that kind of thing. But he did tell me that he saw a suicide. Well, I don't think he saw it, but, like, he saw, like, the aftermath of it. I think he told me. I think the guy hung himself. Someone said, I know you're not from New York City or Jersey or the East Coast. Good sex for Lorne. I bet he would scream out Cod or Dale Earnhardt or something. That's hilarious. Lorne looks at women as pussy and nothing more. That is very true. His emotional maturity. 15. Yeah, nice little doll. She's not going to talk or have opinions afterwards, and you can pretend that she's however young. Sex is cool and everything, but what is Lauren going to do the rest of the 23 hours and 50 minutes of the day? That's funny. I think he would. I think if you are in a profession like that where you're seeing naked people, he's definitely going to ask questions about it, especially when he's drunk. Lauren was stranded on a deserted island. What age would he choose? It depends because it really depends. I think that the problem with a lot of, let's say, predators and child sex offenders, or not child sex offenders, sex offenders who have committed crimes against children, I think the problem is not that they never like adult women, it's that they don't discriminate when it comes to age, period. So, yeah, they might date someone, like, let's say the person in question that we're talking about is 40. It's like, yeah, he might date other 40-year-olds. He might even go as high as, like, let's say 45. But the problem is that he'll go as low as, like, 12. So, if we're talking about a 40-year-old man who finds women who are in their 40s attractive, 30s, and even 20s, the problem becomes that he doesn't discriminate. So he will even find teenagers, and in some cases, women even younger, or girls even younger than that, attractive and pursuable. What's disaster going to do with other 14 hours a day? I heal people, I know, right? Oh gosh, his reason for being unemployed. Oh, that one's he lost his job because of problems with the truck, but I think it was more than that. But I don't know. I have theories. What is a sex offender waiting list? It's it's funny. I don't know what it is. What is that? Tell me what that is. What's a sex offender waiting list? That's very funny. I don't have any reason to think that he's traumatized by jail. In the sense that, well, no, that's the wrong way to say it. I don't think that jail traumatized him any more than his daily bad decisions do, is a better way to say that. And yes, Clyde is 100% right. The worst thing that he told me about himself is that he went out drunk driving after having 18 beers. That is horrible. I have no clue why his pubes are so fucked up looking. The only person who knows about, like, the only person who I interact with, like, on a day-to-day who knows about me and Lauren is my real boyfriend. Yeah, it's my fault that he drank so many because I told him that, like, I dared him to drink more, and so it's my fault that he gets drunk. But actually, that wasn't that same night. That was a different night when I had dared him. And I would have never told him to drink or to drive drunk. But there was a different night where he was home and he was trying to, like, reach 22 beers to impress me. David Garcia, good question. He did not look bad when he was younger. Denny, we're talking about a guy who, even after I told him several times to stop doing this, would send me dick pics while he was operating a semi, would send me videos of his penis while he was operating a semi, would do this whether it was raining, would do this whether it was sunshining, would do this whether it was snowing, and I told him repeatedly to stop doing that. I can only say that somewhere out there, another life has been saved because he's not operating a semi right now. Buchanan, what school did you go to? Maybe not call it a sex offender. I see what you're saying, Technotron. Maybe not call it a sex offender waiting list, but it could have some other name. Because to me, like, I look at the sex offender registry as this is a list of people you should avoid. This is a list of people who you should not do business with or any other kind of dealings with. The Codfather says something fucked him up in his late 20s. Yeah, it was that bitch Paula. Yeah, and it's not his fault he has a gigantic penis. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about. Yep, we're still here. His smoking or his drinking? That's a good question. And it's hard to say without seeing him and knowing him in person. But I think the combination is just so bad. I mean, it was up to 3 packs of cigarettes a day and an insane amount of beer. And see, in Buchanan, I would think California would be a little bit easier to find something just based on there's so much out there, but also it's probably a lot of competition. Just keep plugging away and keep looking. Ember, are you still here? On a scale of Lorne to doctor, I would say doctor. Definitely doctor. Not a problem, and thank you guys for the kind comments. Are you guys sleepy, or do you guys have any more questions? Do I feel I need a break from Lorne sometimes? Things like sometimes my phone rings and I'm like, oh God, not now. That's an interesting comment, Tax. But yeah, like it's like sometimes it's like, oh God, not now. Oh, Jared, I'm so glad you're enjoying. Yeah, I haven't seen your name pop up. You haven't said too much, but I'm glad you were silently enjoying. What's next for him after this ends? I think that his life in 10 years will look the exact same as it will in 20 years. Not a whole lot. How much does he drink a day? He doesn't drink every day. It's just that, like, when he drinks 1 to 2 times a week, he drinks a lot. Yeah, the community's worth it. I think the community's worth it. I don't think Lauren's going to call drunk in 5 or at 5. I might wake up to some nasty messages, but... Oh, thank you, Finelli. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I just tend to stay calm. It's like... Oh, so you're listening from New Zealand. Isn't that something? You're in New Zealand. What time is it in New Zealand? Dex, give me something to say in my mocking Lorne voice, and I'll say it for you. Do I have a Lorne highlight? Wait a minute. Holy Toledo. When you said all the things, Jared, this is to Jared, when you said all the things that you've done since you've been listening to the call, I'm thinking that you're in California because that's the furthest, well, Hawaii, but as far as like on land states, that's the furthest time zone. They're 3 hours behind the East Coast, the East Coast, and it's almost 6 a.m. on the East Coast. But it's like already nighttime. It's like tomorrow almost for you guys. No, he'll never live a normal life. Poor stinks. Yes, that's true. I always make sure that, and it's funny because even in real life, on the rare occasions that I argue with my boyfriend, I always present facts. I always present them eloquently, and I don't argue if I think I'm wrong. And so it's admittedly, it's kind of difficult to win an argument against me because if I, who can be, and I'm very objective, if I'm correct in what I'm saying and I have facts to back it up, then I'll ask questions and I can trap people into a corner if they are not willing to, let's say, admit fault. So we don't argue much at all, but on the rare occasions that we do, I don't think it's a pleasant experience for him. Yes, isn't that something? That this random person named Nick who showed up at his door or whatever, and no, he doesn't meet real women, but this random person who showed up at his door or whatever, or called the cops on him or whatever, is now suddenly someone who he's jealous of. I mean, isn't that insane? Someone asked for a highlight, and one of the things that he did that's easy to overlook, but for me it was like another level of abuse, is there was, on the last call, I think it was that 10-hour call where he was just like abusing me. It's the one that I said I felt disgusting afterwards. Like I felt disgusting when I woke up. So during that call, it's like maybe 2 in the morning at the time I did this, or 3 in the morning. I don't know if you're going to hear this sound, but I did this. I'll do it again. I made that sound, and Lorne thought that was my makeup, and that I was putting on makeup at 2 in the morning, and he proceeded to verbally beat the hell out of me because Who am I getting dressed up for? Why am I putting on makeup at 2 in the morning? Who the fuck am I trying to look nice for? Is that doctor's there? I'm trying to look nice to him. And it was so disgusting to me that he would even go there. And the funny thing is that sound was the sound of my vitamin pill box. I was just taking a vitamin. And he heard one sound and insisted that I was putting on makeup and continued and started a new line of abuse. Do I think he has a sense that this is a ruse? I don't know. Because I really don't know. When you think about it, anybody would have to ask themselves, why would someone in Ramona's situation who has what she has choose him over a doctor or even the neighbor or anybody? But I said yes on the podcast, Jared. I said that I believe it could be as low as 3 or as many as 100. Maybe not prostitutes, but just I think that it could be one-night stands and that kind of thing. So that was just like a guess, to basically mean that, yeah, there's definitely been more than 2, more than 3 probably, but there likely isn't a cap as to how many it could be. Because, I mean, you got to think, if for 10 years you have one-night stands, let's say twice a week, in a year, that's over 100 women. Thank you, David. I genuinely feel like I'm doing God's work, keeping this guy from abusing another real person. I genuinely don't know how someone would get out of that kind of relationship with him. If you're in a relationship with him, he knows where you live. I think it could be really, really scary. It's scary just to think about it. Do I think Lorne has depression? I think he is bored. I think that he refuses to take the tools to better his life. And I do think that he has depressive moments. But one thing I'll say about him that I did notice is that he was very resilient. When everything was caving in on him with his bills, with just everything, he was very resilient in the sense that he did not let it get him down. Part of it's because he's immature and doesn't care. But the other part is I do think that he has some resilience. Hello, wine lover. Oh, forensic files couldn't cut it. Usually it does cut it for me, but I mean there are just times when Lorne Entertainment is even better. Hello from Alaska. You know what? If any of you guys are listening and I know Alaska's part of America, but I just thought if anyone listening is from outside of the country, if you could type where you are, because I know we have a New Zealander, if you could just type where you are, that would be awesome, because I think that's really cool. What would the outcome have been if Kayla were a real 13-year-old who was smitten with Lorne? It would have only been, there's a couple ways that it could have gone, because it depends on what Lorne does. A lot of it depends on what Lorne does. If Lorne had stayed with her and kind of been like he is with me, oh gosh, I didn't even think about it. She would be most likely some kind of substance abuser. She'd have low confidence. She would be very codependent, extremely codependent. But if she was smitten with him and he screwed her and then never talked to her again, that could have set the stage for her to have pretty messed up relationships, because her first, what she thought was love, screwed her over. And then when she gets older, she'll realize that, well, not only did he have what she thought was sex and then never talk to her again, but he also raped her because she was not of age to consent. So I think what would have happened with her is also contingent on what he would have done, and there's a bunch of scenarios to what he could have done. His social life is hanging out with his friend and his friend's girlfriend, who used to live right down the street from him before he moved, and he hangs out with them maybe twice a week. Other than that, his social life is literally looking at his phone waiting for me to call. Yes, he calls it quality time when we're just on the phone, and that's our time, and that's us bonding and all this whole shit. How many women, including me, that he's proposed to? Now, I could get a better gauge of this, because I'm going to include Kayla. I would say no less than 5, maybe no more than 15, 20. A lot of people have thought that I was Ember in disguise, which is funny to me, because I don't think our voices sound anything alike, and I don't know how someone could get a voice recorder that would have two actual different sounding voices that weren't like a kitty voice, that wasn't like a kitty voice or a chipmunk type voice. Victor, what kind of wisdom are you referring to? Well, it's not so much that Forensic Files sucks, it's that they don't make it anymore. I freaking love that show, though. Yes, Forensic Files is awesome. Oh my, you're in Malaysia, South Africa, Ireland, Hong Kong, British Columbia. Whoa, this is so cool. Oh yeah, he would have raped her if NBC wasn't there. Another New Zealander. Someone's listening from the UK. That's awesome. Do we have can we get 6 out of 7 continents? We've got North America. We've got Europe. We have got, do we have South America covered? I think it would be cool if we could hit all. Well, we're not going to hit all. I don't think anybody from Antarctica will be chatting with us, but certainly if we could hit like 6 or 7 continents. No, Lorne has never turned me on, not in the slightest. Yes, we've got Australia. Okay, so what do we have? We have North America. We have Asia. We have North America. We have Asia. We have Australia. We have Europe. We need South America. And what am I forgetting? I just said a bunch of them. What am I forgetting? Ramona can't name her continents. Africa. We have Africa. So we just need someone from South America. This is so cool. Let's see. How would Lorne react if you went on vacation and couldn't talk to him for a week because you're out of the country? That's how you could take a break. Okay, remember that question because I have the answer to that question. I absolutely have the answer to that question. So remember that question. I'm going to scroll down because it's a little bit of a longer story, but it's, of course, an interesting story. So I will answer that one just coming up. Let me knock out some of these quick ones. Yeah, there's probably more underagers. Do I think one would take advantage of a woman if she was incapacitated? It's possible. Why did I invent the doctor net? That's a good question. I needed someone, when I could sense that he was, seriously, not even joking, jealous of my grandmother because I was talking to her. And he actually screamed at me one time and told me to get off the phone with her. He told me to get off the phone with her a couple times. But when I discovered that he was jealous of my grandmother, I knew I needed to invent someone for him really to be jealous of. Lorne's political and religious views, he calls himself a Republican centrist. He agrees with some things that the Democrats say. He agrees with some things that the Republicans say. But his main political viewpoint is that it is the Kentucky government's fault that he got caught on the sting because they gave the okay for them to have the show. So it's the government's fault, basically, and the government has screwed him over and allowed that show to be made. His religious views, he believes in God, but he's not, like, super religious. Oh, thank you for saying I'm awesome. You're from Antarctica? My favorite movie this summer? I don't really go to the movies too much. I really don't go to the movies too much. I don't have a YouTube channel. I bet I would love Cold Case Files. I'll probably start watching it at some point. Do I like the Ramones? Don't know too much about them. Could I introduce a lover's nickname for Lorne? Does Lorne ever talk about his time in prison? Not too much. I mean, well, he has, but I'll say this, there was nothing unique about his time in prison. Like, there's nothing, like, different. Like, I know because it's more and you think that something different or unique happened. There's really nothing that, like, stood out to me. Nope, they are not real. I would say he weighs probably about 190. Lorne thought he would marry and father a kid. with Kayla when she turned 18 and her parents would be okay with it, no other predator. That is so very true. You know what, Andrew? That's a very good question, and that is a complete coincidence that the doctor is a doctor, and so are Kayla's parents. That was a complete coincidence. I had never even thought about it until just now. So that's a very good eye there. I had never even thought about that. That's just a coincidence. I wanted to make him something prestigious and something where when he heard the title, he would like automatically know that this is someone who is successful and well off. So that is a coincidence. No, the doctor's name isn't Derek. That would be so funny. Yes, Andrew, yes. The answer is yes. You can interview me for your channel. Not too difficult, because I can always, bounce back, and I think very fast, so it's not too difficult for me to do a Lorne phone call. Okay, let me tell you guys about the week that I dared to go away on vacation. Because who asked that question? Oh, don't make me scroll. One of you gentle souls asked the question, where's my water? Here it is. One of you gentle souls asked the question or said that maybe I should go away for a week and say that I won't be available to talk, and that'll give me, yes, the last tanker you did. Okay, answer to your question is coming up. Okay, so here is the answer to that question. So I planned a Niagara Falls trip with my real lovey bunny, and it was for Memorial Day weekend. So we took several days off the week of Memorial Day, and we were going to be gone for, I think, 5 nights and 6 days. And we were gone for 5 nights and 6 days. So I told Lorne about this trip that was coming up. And in the weeks leading up to the trip, because it can't even start with the actual trip. You have to start with the weeks leading up to the trip. His probation officer and counselor and whatnot were giving him a hard time about, well, you need to meet Ramona, you need to meet her, blah, blah, blah. And he actually screamed at me because I had the nerve to go, because I told him I was going with my brother, I had the nerve to go to Niagara Falls. And for one, I didn't even plan a detour to see him. That was thing one. But then thing two was that why am I even going to, quote, fucking Niagara Falls when I should be going to see him? So rather than going to Niagara Falls, I should be going to see him. And I said, yeah, well, I would need to bring my brother. Okay, well, bring your brother. I said, there's nothing in Maine that my brother wants to see. And he said that since he's there, that my brother should want to go see him, since, if I go see him. And so he gave me a hard time about that. He also gave me a hard time, and Niagara Falls to Maine is like 10 hours exactly. And the way I was coming from, it didn't give him any, or I should say, it didn't push me any closer to him by going to Niagara Falls. So he cursed me out about that. Then he said, And so then I said, Lauren, this isn't about you. I want to have a nice vacation and just hang out and enjoy myself. And you can't have a nice vacation here? So I have to put up with fucking bullshit. This is Lauren talking. So I have to put up with fucking bullshit for my probation officer and my counselor because you want to go to some stupid Niagara Falls? That's what he's telling me. And so then it was, and you won't even lend me the money to fly your ass up here. So basically what he was saying that I should do is I should lend him the money so that he could fly me up to Maine to see him. And my thing is, I told him, I said, Lauren, you owe so many people money. I would not take that risk. I would not lend you money because I know I would never see it again. Okay, so then after that, fast forward a little bit to the day that I am, yes, he does. Chad, you're exactly right. He consistently acts as though it's my fault that he's on probation. I'm not sure if you were able to hear all of the call from earlier, but there are several examples of that. Okay, so then fast forward to the day before we leave, and I'm packing, I'm getting my hair done, I'm doing all sorts of things. What does Lauren do? Now, oh, and by the way, that day I had told him that you can call, I had said to him, you can call me and leave me messages. I probably won't be able to answer, but you can call me and leave me messages, and you can text message me, and I'll be able to answer to those sporadically. Okay, so what does Lauren do the day before I leave while I'm packing and getting ready? He gets drunk. He sends me some nasty messages, of course, accusing me of doing stuff with the doctor, and leaves me a couple nasty voicemails. And I'm reading your comments. And I wake up to bullshit on my phone. So at that point, I had to I had to finish up some last minute paperwork for my job. And so I'm trying to do my paperwork, and he's messaging me. He's harassing me. He's talking about all the people I've screwed, and I screwed the doctor, this, that, and the other. And I told him he was drunk. He later admitted that he was drunk. And I told him that because of his abuse and behavior, that he is not to message me while I'm on my trip. I said, you lost that privilege because you didn't know how to act. You got drunk, you harassed me, and so you lost the privilege of contacting me while I'm on my trip. So I went on my trip. I had an amazing time. Lauren didn't message me at all. And I come back from my trip. I got back on a Friday, and I also worked on that same Friday because I got back very early Friday morning. Friday, I talked to him for 5 hours. Then Saturday, I think I talked to him for a couple minutes. And then, I texted him Saturday and Sunday. And then comes Monday. I have a friend in Texas. I was talking to her. I hadn't talked to her the whole week. So I was talking to her. I think I talked to Lauren for about an hour that Monday, the Monday that I had gotten back. And so I'm talking to my friend in Texas most of the day. That night, he did it again. And Ember has a audio of it. He did it again. He harassed me. He told me that my, quote, fucking friend in Texas is not important, and that how dare I not spend any time with him after he didn't get any time with me for a week. I said, Lauren, I just spent 5 hours on the phone with you. No, oh, that's funny. I said, Lauren, I spent 5 hours on the phone with you Friday. Quit mentioning that. I said, Lauren, I spent 5 hours on the phone with you. What more do you want? Well, you had to spend time with that fucking Texas girl, that fucking girl in Texas. So then I told him that she had a crisis. I didn't say what kind of crisis. I just said she had a crisis and she needed me. Well, that's not important. What happened in that her crisis is not important when we haven't spent time together. And so he went on and on for about 5 hours about how my friend's crisis is not important. We haven't spent time together, and yada, yada, yada. So that's how it is when you take a simple week from Lorne. That's a good question, Victor, because I don't know. I think I'm Tanker. That's what happens. Thank you, Denny. And I've been hounded about this, and it's funny because and I don't know if this is truly coming from his probation officer and counselor, or if this is coming from him. But apparently they said stuff like, why won't she give you her name and her last name and her birthday? Why won't Ramona give her last name and her birthday? And my thing is, I said to him, you tell me, I said, if your probation officer's daughter was dating a registered sex offender who's in Maine, who's twice her age, would she want her family last name being given out? Mango twist. That's a nice, fruity name, mango twist. Yes, he is a but what have you done for me lately kind of guy. I mean, and I'm not sure if all of you guys were here for this. I genuinely do have 2 knee injuries. Well, not 2 knee injuries. I have multiple knee injuries in both knees. And I've been on short-term disability for work because of my knee injuries. And so it took him a couple of weeks to ask about my knees. And I had to say, you never asked about my knees. He told me the other day that I'm faking it to be with the doctors, that I'm faking my knee injuries. And today, because I just found out yesterday that I'm going to be having surgery next week, a week from today. So yesterday, rather, or I found out on Monday. So I spent Tuesday getting things together, making calls that I needed to make, scheduling pre-op doctor's appointments and whatnot. And quite naturally, it was like, well, that's not important. I want to talk to you on the phone. Yeah, that's true. He wanted to know everything about Nick, but wouldn't talk about the uncle. Can Lorne even go to Comic-Con? Because things like that are kind of iffy. Whether or not registered sex offenders can go. I mean, I guess they could. He's going to be pissed at you for not spending time with him while you're on the operating table. That is so true. I mean, it's like having, and I'm not sure how many of you guys have had like knee injuries or anything like that. Thank you so much, Miss Spelling. But when you have knee injuries, when you have, I guess it would be the same with any injury, there's like different processes you have to go to. You have to call people. You have to schedule things. I mean, it's not just, show up and get surgery. You have to do other things. And that stuff is time consuming. Lorne doesn't get that. Lorne thinks I should just be talking to him all day on the phone because that's what he wants. No. When Lorne hung up and said he was going to bed and told me to call my other boyfriend, that was it for him. No, he's not pretending to be a lesbian. Well, he knows I don't drink, but that would be pretty funny. I wouldn't even know how to act like that. I think the next call from the doctor, it depends on how much he sobers up. Oh, wait, you said the doctor. Wait, no, you said Lorne. The next call from Lorne. It depends on how much he sobers up, because if he's completely sober when I talk to him again, then his whole, like, everything would have calmed down. And he'll be a little bit more rational, if you can picture him being rational. Yep, he acts like he can't trust me, but he stays calling me, yep. Lorne likes country music. That's all he listens to. Soon. I have to get a new part for my phone. My phone broke. I dropped it on the charging port. And so my boyfriend can fix it, but I still need to get the part. So once I get that part, I'll be able to find the Lorne call. It might take a while, but I should be able to find it. The doctor saw me topless. Yep, made that up as I was going. And then the wonderful story about how I saw the doctor naked. The newest character is the doctor's nephew. If you guys have any ideas for characters, I'd love to hear it. Oh yeah, I saw him naked. He saw me topless. Oh well, Lorne does know how I saw him naked. Well, of course it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Yeah, the doctor has a voice, and his voice is really distinct. The guy who plays the doctor. Oh, finale. That's a great idea. Bring in a dog. He'll get jealous of it. Well, he got jealous of my so-called brother. I am going to run with the old high school boyfriend idea. I like that one. Need someone to play the doctor's sister, and it turns out, I do need someone to play the doctor's sister, but her having a crush on me when the doctor's nephew has a crush on me, that's a bit much. He's pissed at Ember because Ember had called him and told him a whole bunch of like flirtatious stuff I did with the doctor. And I went and I walked back some of it and made it sound like there was like a different meaning to it. And with the others, I said, no. I said, my brother TJ found out that I'm dating a registered sex offender. And he told Ember a whole bunch of things. It was the hope that he would end my relationship because he freaked out. Yeah, the first few calls were kind of affectionate, but the one thing that always remained was that on the weekends, usually Friday and Saturday, sometimes during the day Sunday, he would drink. And when he would drink, I truly would wake up to hundreds of pieces of contact from him. Hundreds of voicemails, hundreds of text messages, maybe 30 calls, 20 voicemails, all calling me different names and everything. Thank you, Ryan Holden, or Holden Ryan. Oh, and by the way, I do read your guys' comments on the videos. I definitely read your guys' comments, and they make my day. I am so happy that you guys enjoy everything, and have such great things to say. I'm not sure why it was dink instead of dick. That I don't know. He just caught on to that word and ran with it. Was I? No, actually, Jared, I was not aware of the Michelle Simpson incident, and it was brilliant. I had no clue that was going to happen. But what was so funny is that there was Michelle Simpson, and then there was a girl named Katie Zeintek, like Zeintek, and they would both comment on his channel. And whenever he would get mad at me, he would threaten to leave me for Michelle or Katie. What other questions do you guys have? I'm not too familiar with Charles Bukowski. That's funny. That's funny. Why not introduce Bigfoot? That is funny. How about a best friend of Ramona's that Lorne confides in and then tried it on with? I don't understand that. Tried it on with? No redeeming qualities. Yep, he is grossed out by homosexual sex. He's grossed out by that. He's grossed out by the idea of one adult male sticking his penis in another adult male, but not at all grossed out by screwing children. Go figure. At the start of the relationship, no, well, it's not so much whether or not we argued. It was, we talked significantly less than what we did. Oh, hang on a second. We talked significantly less than what we did up until my injury, and so it wasn't, as much arguing. How do I explain to Lorne? The prank that Ember pulled, I told him that my phone got hacked. Oh, finale, that's a great idea. What do you guys think? Take a vote. Should the old boyfriend be a wrestler, a bodybuilder, or an MMA fighter? Which one? Yeah, he seems to think all of his issues are because of other people. Oh gosh, wine lover. Okay, it seems like really, guys, MMA fighter, really. I just heard something. You guys really like MMA fighter? MMA fighter and porn star. And I'm gonna say I can't say his name. Oh gosh, that's so funny. What is the most outrageous lie he's bought? That a 24-year-old is like drooling over a 46-year-old registered sex offender who drinks and has no money. Let me think. But outside of that, What's the most outrageous lie you've ever bought? That's a good one, because there have been some things that I think you guys all like. Most of you guys said MMA fighters. I have to tell them that it's mixed martial arts. That's true. Ooh, this MMA fighter took me to prom. I like that. Eminem, can you hear me? The thing is on. You know, Jared, it's funny that question you asked me, because it's like I don't care when he starts crying, because I know that he's a piece of shit, and I know that he is trying to manipulate me. So I don't care when he cries. But like I know that saying "Are you crying?" and giving him sympathy will make him cry and talk to us. It's funny that you said that, because there is actually an MMA fighter who is a vegan. Actually, there's several, but there's one who I saw on, what was it, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the show where they compete to become an MMA fighter, and I liked him when I used to watch him on that show. Is that the show I'm thinking of, Ultimate Fighter? Oh, he does explode. He was throwing cutlery and throwing stuff last week. If given the opportunity, I think he might try it, but I don't know for sure. Acid reflux sucks. Have you tried apple cider vinegar? Vegan dick modeling. The angriest he's ever been, that last call that we had that was like 10 hours, like the 10-hour call where he's just like screaming and like literally I go to say one thing and he cuts me off. That one was really bad. And then there's one where he's calling me all sorts of pieces of, well, there's several voicemails where he's calling me all sorts of pieces of shit and no good and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I think he would as well. And there's a medicine that I got, because I got bad acid reflux because I was eating a bunch of junk food the other day, but for several days. And there's this stuff I got at Whole Foods, and it really helped. I had acid reflux and heartburn, and that stuff helped so much. All right, guys, I want you guys to all ask me one more question before I have to sign out and close my eyes, because I have a doctor's appointment at noon. Hey, I'm not a fake vegan. I don't consume any animal products whatsoever. I don't wear them. I don't use them on my skin. Vegan is not about eating junk food or not. Vegan's about not eating animal products. For my knee, I have a doctor's appointment for my knee. Oh yes, Denny. When he asked me if I would rather wake up in bed next to him or the doctor, I don't know if I threw up in my mouth. I don't know what I did. Because that's being vegan. You can eat. You can live off of French fries and not wear leather shoes and be vegan. It's all about not eating animals. I can't stand health food vegans who tell everybody that they're not vegan because they eat junk food. So anyway, let me go back up because you guys' questions are coming in really fast. Yeah, okay, so when he asked me if I wanted to wake up in bed with him or the doctor, I didn't know if I threw up in my mouth or if I was laughing. I don't know what, because I'm like, are you kidding me? You're abusing me. You're calling me names, and you're asking if I want to wake up next to you. Really? Like, you're really asking me that, Lord? Like, I couldn't believe it. I don't know. It depends. People are interested in this, and so I'm not sure how long it'll continue. People are interested, and more people are getting interested every day, so I'm not sure. Lauren's business was a septic business. Will I be taking my doctor's prescriptions orally? Yes, because there's a bunch of pills. A recap on a call. Hang on, let me. Yep, that's funny. Maybe that followed his birthday. I don't know, Dex, are you trolling me or not? I'm a real vegan too. I've been a vegan for 10 years. I know what it means. And a vegan is someone who does not eat, wear, use animal products. Doesn't mean that you can't eat French fries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and not be a vegan. You eat a lot of junk food if that's what you do, but you're still a vegan if you're intentionally abstaining from eating animal products. And I'm a real vegan too. And I don't appreciate when people, well, you're not a real vegan because you eat junk food. Yes, the fuck I am. Now, back to Lorne. Yeah, the cop came in and he's very worried about going back to prison because he was drunk. But I don't know if you guys noticed that he managed to turn that around and say that it was my fault. It's my fault that he drinks because he's stressed out because I haven't been paying him as much attention. And so because I don't pay him as much attention as I did before I had knee injuries, well, now he's drinking. And so he wanted to go every which way around the world to avoid saying that he was truly worried that he's going to jail because the cop came in. So funny. Did you ever think? Oh no, David Garcia. No, I did not. Me and the doctor thought that this would last a maximum of 6 months. I mean, it's like, no, I never thought that he would be this obsessed. No, you will stay on the phone. Fuck the goddamn doctor. That's exactly what he does. You stay on the phone. You're staying on the phone. When I'm tired, you're staying on the phone. Then you pretend to doze off, and he starts talking about how he'll rape you in your sleep. Oh, just such a lovely guy. Would his interest die down after sex? I'm not sure. It's possible. Or think, is he going to touch your knee? Most cringeworthy thing he's done. Give me some ideas, guys. What's the most cringeworthy thing he's done? That's it. Ew, I wouldn't want Lawrence to come. Ugh. This has been going like, what? Almost 10 hours. Yeah, I keep losing this. Okay. Has Lorne ever spoken about his neighbor in Nashville? No. Yep, he blamed me for his drinking. He blames you, and then you point that out, and he's like, no, I'm not blaming you, but it's because of you that I've been drinking. Yep, that's him. No, we don't want Lorne to kill himself. In fact, if I thought that he was a suicidal type, if he ever said anything about suicide, I would have never talked to him. I would not want him to, I would not want to know that somebody committed suicide. All right, if you guys have any more questions, get them in. We all need to get counseling so we can get off the internet. I love you guys too. If he brings up suicide, do you feel partly to blame? No, and he and I have talked about, let me see. Ember tried to go after me. That's an interesting one. I have not slept tonight, guys. I have been up since probably about noon of yesterday. Thank you guys for the kind words. That would be so funny to get married over the phone. That would be interesting, yeah, have Ember start chasing after me. But he's already said, how the fuck did you get so close? How did you get so close? No, Lorne doesn't talk about ghosts. The only white stuff he ever talks about is the stuff that comes out of his penis. With last name being part of this. Yeah, I could. The grossest video he ever sent to me was a video of his fecal matter. I don't know if he has schmegma. I wouldn't put it past him. But could you see that I don't know if you could see schmegma in a photograph. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah. Yes, I'm absolutely serious. Oh gosh, and he'd always love sending me videos of him peeing and pictures of his pee. I think I have probably about 40 videos of him peeing. And he'd feel bad if and I talk about it in the past tense because now he doesn't have a smartphone that can actually do like pictures and videos and stuff. But like, he would feel bad if he couldn't, like, if he forgot his phone. So he'd say something like, I went pee, but I forgot to bring my phone in and videotape it for you. So here's a video of the pee, and he'd take a video of the pee-pee. Yes, yes, Jane. He sent videos of his crap. Oh, IRS, none of that happened, at least to him, or according to him. Tell him you. Oh, God. Yeah, I guess he's in the bad. Oh, man, that's a good story, how I became aware of Lorne. Does he mention his nieces? No. Does he have a flip phone? I think his phone is a flip phone. How I became aware of him is a very good story. So it was literally. Do you have them things impossible? Ectoplasm? What's that? Now I'm looking it up. Ugh. Guys, it's gross. Let's look up images of ectoplasm. Whoa, what am I looking at? I don't want to know. Yeah, Lorne does keep getting better and better. Is Andrew Burkett still here? Andrew, are you still here? The reason I asked is I'm just curious about when you want to interview me, but if he's not here, I can talk to him about that tomorrow. Oh, okay, Andrew. When are you thinking of doing an interview? Monday. Yeah, let's set Monday tentatively, and that gives you time to gather people. Like, that gives you time to let people know what's going on. Okay, guys, any more final questions? Any more final questions? I mean, just because I'm going to bed, you guys can still stay and hang out. Yes, Denny, that is absolutely the truth. That is so true. See, the worst person I've ever met? Stinky Dex. Yeah, I think. Oh, God. Yeah, I think he. Thank you for your sympathy. He's certainly one of them for sure.